Miami Heat guard Goran Dragic, 7, is defended by Philadelphia 76ers guard Ben Simmons, 25, during the third quarter in Game 4 of a first-round NBA basketball playoff series Saturday, April 21, 2018. In Miami, the 76ers won 106-102. AP photo/Joe Skipper, by Sean Powell, NBA.com. Miami, back in 2014, when the Miami Heat were wrapping up their championship-fueled era, the Philadelphia 76ers began plotting their own, and they did it unconventionally, laughably and by any measure, dreadfully. It was year one of the most ambitious rebuilding plan before or since, when the Sixers willingly laid down and became a doormat and allowed other teams to wipe their sneakers on them. That season, while LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh cruised to a fourth straight appearance, and their last together, in the NBA Finals, the Sixers lost 63 games. And then they got better at this tanking technique and lost 64 and 72 the next 2 years. But fast forward to now, to Saturday, Sunday, PHL time, at American Airlines Arena, and the roles with the Heat and Sixers are threatening to flip. Maybe not so drastically, but it's clear through 4 games of this first-round playoff series that the Sixers are going one way and the Heat another. The Sixers have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, a pair of young bedrocks slowly building something with the potential to be big. The Heat? They have banners in the rafters commemorating what they used to be, not so long ago. Philly also has something else on Miami, namely a 3-1 series lead after Simmons became the first rookie since Magic Johnson to drop a triple-double in a playoff game, and Embiid fought through a poor shooting game and an irritating protective mask to spook any Heat player that challenged him at the rim. It was the Sixers who made all the right plays in the final crucial moments in the 106-102 win, getting key stops and buckets and pulling away, a team with a young core turning mature, and doing it rapidly, despite their lack of postseason experience. And having a front-row seat to this new process was none other than Wade, a proud-aging member of the extinct Big Three who realizes something unique is happening with the Sixers. "This is a very good team," said Wade. "They've got talent at almost every position. This is definitely one of the best first-round opponents I've played in my career." "Are the Sixers all that, already?" "They're good," said Wade. "They're special. They put the right team together." "Yes, they have. Maybe it wasn't properly done in the spirit of competition, and perhaps they embarrassed themselves if not the league while doing so, but that's all behind the Sixers right now. What's ahead of them is a potential series-clinching Game 5 in Philly, and from there, who knows?" Yes, the core of the Sixers is Simmons, Embiid, and Dario Saric, all under 25, and in the playing rotation only J.J. Redick and Marco Bellinelli earned any significant playoff money. But if a young team is ever going to reach the NBA Finals, this is the right time, and this is the right team. Just look at the wide-open landscape in the East. LeBron and the Cavaliers, winners of the last 3 East titles, are down 2-1 to the Pacers and haven't appeared this fragile since LeBron returned to Cleveland. The Celtics are missing Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward. Toronto is the number 1 seed in the East but inspires few outside Canada. Why not the Sixers? Why not now? Simmons is lacking a jump shot and little else, and still manages to score anyway. His direction of the club in the fourth quarter of Game 4 was near masterful. Simmons stayed poised, found the open man and popped the Heat's comeback hopes with an uncontested dunk when Miami pulled within a point. Embiid couldn't hit a shot and yet didn't fall into a funk. Rather, he terrorized Miami by being a defensive force, punctuated by his spike of a Goran Dragic late fourth-quarter breakaway layup attempt, followed by an Embiid stare down. "They make you pay every time you make a mistake," said Wade. Speaking of which, the Sixers had 27 turnovers, certainly the recipe for disaster, and still found a way. In the words of Coach Brett Brown, "I'm surprised we won this game. We really didn't have any right to win this game." But maybe it's just additional proof that this is Philly's time. It's quite a contrast to the ex-bully on the block. 4 years after LeBron made the second biggest decision of his life, the Heat are still searching for the identity they had when the champagne flowed, and the party rolled on South Beach. The only reminder is Wade, and at age 36 he's only capable of having flashes now. like his 28 points in Game 2 and an impressive 25-point follow-up Saturday that was marred only by a missed free throw in the final seconds. Besides that, there's nothing special. Pat Riley's latest attempt to recreate a winner is looking dubious right now. Riley decided 2 summers ago to build the Heat around a 7-foot center with low-post skills, which means Riley gave a $100 million to a dinosaur, and one with a decaying relationship with coach Eric Spoelstra. Hassan Whiteside can't get on the floor in today's NBA, where small ball makes him a liability in certain situations. With no shooting range, and perhaps no incentive to develop one, Whiteside finds himself on the bench in fourth quarters and on the nerves of Spoelstra. He's a prisoner of the style of play, said Brown. Plus, Riley also paid Josh Richardson, James Johnson, Tyler Johnson, and Kelly Olynyk, which means the Heat are almost guaranteed to be a 43-win team fighting for the final playoff spot for the next few years. When the Heat searched for someone to bail them out Sunday, PHL time, who did they turn to? An aging all-star who's on the downside, which says something about Wade, and the Heat roster. He ended up being our best option, said Spoelstra. There's another path the Heat can take, of course. They could follow the current Hawks, Nets, Lakers, and Magic, who all took their cues from the 2014 Sixers, and take a few steps back before moving forward. But that's not a foolproof plan. Have you seen the Magic the last few years? And besides, losing by any means isn't in Riley's DNA. So, mediocrity it is, then. Meanwhile, the Sixers have Embiid and Simmons, and if you ask fans in Philly, they'd say it was well worth the steep price, in terms of the misery of tanking, paid for them. They're 2 players that have the chance to be great, said Brown. Joe has no right to be doing some of the things he does. Ben's composure down the stretch is amazing. Those 2 are exceptional. What the Sixers just did was win a pair in Miami, under the banners that hung over them, was fly in the face of basketball convention which says youth doesn't get served in the postseason. They can close out at home and then get the survivor of Celtics-Bucks, and Philly can expect to be the favorite in that conference semifinal. I can see how much we've grown and how much more room we have to grow, said Brown. To come here and get a win, in this building, against an organization of winning and culture and history, it's special. There's another story here. If the Sixers eliminate the Heat, then it could be curtains for Wade, who doesn't have a contract for next season, who hasn't committed to playing beyond this season, and who paused suspiciously for about 3 seconds when asked if Saturday was his final game in Miami. I don't want to answer that right now, he said. Whether he sticks around or takes the sunset cruise, Wade must realize that a transformation is taking place in the East. After years of deliberately bad basketball, the Sixers are finally bearing fruit. And oh, speaking of food, Wade and the Heat can chew on this for a minute. The Sixers have room under the salary cap to give Embiid and Simmons some help next season. LeBron James, free agent to be, might reach the conclusion that the Sixers are his best championship option. For more than 25 years, you can email him here or follow him on Twitter. The views on this page do not necessarily reflect the views of the NBA, its clubs or Turner Broadcasting.